Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly collective reading. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see everybody today. Before anybody asks, Apollo's in the background, relaxing, so we're going to let him relax. He looks very, very calm back there. If he decides to get up later, I'll bring him up there, but sometimes we just let Apollo sleep. So again, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to a weekly collective reading. This is my favorite part of the week. We get a chance to together take a look at the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, and basically focus on what's possible. I always begin with channeled messages, and I got a lot of energy and information through dreams last night, particularly when it came to picking a direction. And it kind of goes nicely with the special topic, which is what you need to know to thrive. So some of that naturally came through in dream space last night. Thanks to everybody who got up a little bit earlier. There is a pride parade here in Los Angeles, well, West Hollywood. And so I didn't want any of the noise to kind of get in the way of today's reading. So we got started a little earlier, which gives everybody a chance to enjoy your day, okay? So let's get into the channel messages first and talk about what's in store for this next 7-day period. Let me just open this up because I rebooted my computer. But I'm going to summarize a couple things as I'm getting this open. First and foremost, I was picking up on the need to avoid distractions. So for many of you, there could be a lot of things pulling at your attention span. And one of the things today is to really avoid some of those distractions. Emotions could also be playing an important part where that distracts you a little bit too, head over heels for something. And then things may not add up, and I'm going to try to help you with that too. So let's start with the first message. So I saw no less than 3 different things that could come through this week and pull you in a different direction. One of them was having fun, and you know I'm a big proponent of having fun, but not at the expense of missing an obligation. So if you've made a commitment, if you said you were going to do something, finish that first, then play. Or if you need to take a break, a 15, 20-minute break, that's fine, but stay on the sort of overarching plan for getting things done. So it was like playing a game or wasting time on social media, something like that. And then I saw like you looked at the clock and you'd missed an appointment. So be mindful of that. Set an alarm if you need to, or set a timer on how long you're going to have that sort of interaction if it is a computer. I'd rather, like, if you're going to play, go out in the real world, take a deep breath. But even then, keep that alarm going because it seemed like it was unintentional, but avoidable. Okay? The next thing was a friend that tried to pull you into their own sort of activity, and you knew you had something else. So in my dreams, I was declining each of these things. It was easy. So for playing, I just said, not now. Like if someone invites you to play a computer game or hang out on social or FaceTime or something like that, you could just say, I'm busy tomorrow or later tonight. I'll hit you up when I'm ready. For the other one, it was like someone was dragging you into a long lunch or a meeting or something else. And you're like, actually, I've already made plans, but I'd love to catch up later. Again, here's one rule of thumb and just general best practice when it comes to people that try to get you pulled into their plans. First of all, you wouldn't like to be canceled on, right? Secondly, you weren't their first person on their mind when it came to planning an event. You're maybe their sort of like fail-safe. So someone else had you as their first choice, and maybe you were their first choice. So why would you ditch them for someone who, spur of the moment, thought, oh yeah, how about you? So it's always better to keep the commitment. It just makes for more integrity at the end of the day. Sometimes there's an amazing opportunity and you can talk to your friend about that, maybe see if they can come with. You know, there's a better way to handle it than to just sort of ghost the other person. It's not cool. And then the last thing here was just not knowing where to go. And we've all been there. And sometimes we just hope for the best. And it can be any number of things, whether it's trying to figure out what your major is in college, what the next job is going to be, how to find a love interest, all these things where sometimes we're just like, whatever. It's better if you're very clear on what you're trying to accomplish, then things can the universe can conspire to help you. So course correction, or I chose the 2 of Wands here, just picking a course is going to be key and sticking to that course. All right. So those are the first sort of really helpful kind of course correction information that's coming through. All right. The next piece, emotions. Seem to be playing no surprise. We're in a full moon, right? The strawberry moon. I did a reading yesterday. So some of you may just be in a place where there's heightened emotions. I put the Queen of Cups. It could also be the Nine of Cups here. Could be a new relationship, could be something really cool that happened to you, could be some stress in your life. The main thing right now is wherever you're at emotionally, slow down, breathe, take your time. Today is a great day to do something like an Epsom salt bath. It's something that I just recently started getting back into, and it's so helpful. First of all, it's good for your muscles if you're having any aches and pains. It's also energetically good because it pulls out any of the sort of things that hang into our auric field. A lot of times if I take an Epsom salt bath, I'll then just quickly shower off afterwards so that it doesn't dehydrate the skin too much. But it's a great thing to do once or twice a week, or any time that you're feeling just a little bit of stress. And it helps you get back into your energy a little bit. You can meditate while you're doing that. Listen to some music or listen to something that's going to help you get back into a regular sort of state of being, okay? And then finally, like that math meme where all of the equations are moving around the person, I was shown something that intuitively didn't add up, but this could also be something that factually or numerically just isn't adding up. So make sure that before you move into something, you have the data to back up the decision. And if you aren't sure that you should do something, ask someone for that. Say, I need to see some backup on this. I need to see the research, and then we can move forward, okay? Simple sort of pieces of information that came through, but really important ones. Now, the interesting thing with when I was seeing sort of like picking a direction, I now have several guides in spirit that are family, like my mom and dad came through. And there was sort of like, we were driving in reverse. It was almost like the future where we might have all electric cars and everything. But it was sort of like you might need to, I talk about a knight of, any of the knights, knight of swords, pentacles, anything. But when they're reversed, it's a slight course correction, maybe a few steps back to get you back on path. And that's one of the reasons, by the way, I get so many on the daily card pull, so I'll address it here. The reason that I read in reverse, cards in reverse, is because it allows you to see where subtle energy is, where course corrections are, and things like that. And every day there's a 50-50 chance it could be upright or reverse. Over time, it's about the same. And in a spread, it's the same sort of thing. So I like it because I'm not afraid to see where we need to do work, and that's usually what a reversal shows. So I'd encourage you to embrace that same energy and just listen to the message. It doesn't matter which direction the card is in. I'm able to interpret it and help you find your way. All right, everybody, let's get into the 7-day forecast. Again, if you just started, here's what we're doing. 7-day forecast is going to take us from Sunday to Sunday. Today, I brought back an old feature. Just to save time, I put the poll up at the beginning, testing it out to see if you like it. You get a chance to vote on the cards rather than me showing all of them. You can go to my website. There's pictures there. Most of you have seen these because I use them anyway. So you have a chance to influence what I'm going to use for the special topic. I'm going to intuitively pick what I want for the other ones. I think this will give us a nice balance here. So let's get started and look at the next 7 days. Thanks to Dakota for his help in moderation as well. Thanks to all of you for showing up. I've done a few special members first experiences this week, so if you want to join in and be a member, I'm doing more things with that as we go into the summer. Change is what today is about. Monday, Tuesday, let's zoom in just a little bit. Wednesday, Thursday's interesting. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All right, let's get these so you can see them and perfectly frame that for you, and we'll get started. All right, so let me just get to the right screen here so I can pull up all of the day markers for you. We're going to start off with this Sunday. Actually, before I even do that, there are a few interesting points. It looks like most of the cards are pretty good. We have two challenging points. One is today. It's an opportunity for change. And then we have another to avoid miscommunication on Thursday. Otherwise, most of the week is manageable. This is just about decisions. So I'm going to help you through it. All right. I always like to just kind of like take a pulse check and see what the week has in store. All right. So we have the Death card in reverse. And this is an end to stagnation. I love the Death card. Tarot readers, we're not really afraid of things like Devil, Death, Ten of Swords, Tower. To me, what they show me is exactly where we need to focus. So I'm always grateful when it comes up. I don't necessarily, want to see it in certain positions, but I'm always grateful to understand what we need to work on. Death is good though, because it's transformation, change, and evolution. So I actually like this card no matter where it's at because it shows change, and I like change. So if there's something where you feel like it isn't moving, I love how she's just pulling back the curtain a little bit and facing her fear, facing change head on. And that's kind of what we see in this illustration here. Is there something in your life right now where you're feeling, I'm just not seeing movement. I don't feel connected to this. You don't like it. If there's anything of that nature, the Death card is coming through and saying, this is really where you should put your focus today. Today can be a perfect day for planning, for basically looking at something and saying, what do I really want? And then deciding, I'm going to do it. Sometimes when we get the Judgment card or the Death card, there's that internal, sort of like it's a switch that's flicked on where you're like, this is how I do it, okay? There could also be unexpected news of change that's coming through. And you may have to also be the initiator of something or say, I need more, I need to understand this. So as you start to dig in and get more information or details, the truth is revealed. And that's really what this is revealing the truth. Sometimes it looks scary on the outside, but we really see that it's just something that we can manage once we get to what it is, okay? So that's what I see as today's a perfect day to make plans, to change, to adjust, to grow, to do something new. And it really can be kind of on the research or that inner switch that's going to flip. And it is actually not just going to flip on, but is also going to flip the script for the week ahead, okay? So embrace change and opportunity. Change up your routine today. Do something different. So I'm meeting a friend for brunch today. And that was also something that I want to do. I'm like, well, it's going to be busy anyway. Let's have some fun. And I changed the schedule. A change can be good. It can completely adjust everything in your life. So do something different, okay? As we look now at the energy of Monday, for some of you, it's around indecision. What do I do? What's next? And I do like that she's calm. She's introspective in this card, and she's not so worried about what the outcome is going to be. There's a little sea creature in the background. There's fire in front of her, and she's really cool, calm, and collected. You know what's so fascinating about this? Because I do editing here for all the YouTube stuff. If you look at this, this is like a waveform, the sword. So it kind of looks to me like a voice. Really cool, actually. So for some of you, it's the inner voice versus the outer feedback that you're getting from a friend, a colleague, a parent. And listen to that inner voice. That's why she's closing her mind and she's not letting the chatter, because swords are communication. And I mean, I swear those are waveforms. They look a lot like waveforms to me. So listen here and here, your third eye, your heart, and use your voice as well. And so with the ways to overcome the Two of Swords, ask a question. If you're not clear, say no. We talked about some of the distractions that could be coming through, and follow your own instincts. And that's going to help you out on Tuesday. Okay, on Monday. Moving to the energy of Tuesday, here's what we've got. On Tuesday, a little bit better. We see you moving towards something completing. So let's look at this one. Interesting that we have the sort of death symbol coming through on this too. So out of the heels of something that may not have ended the way you wanted, you might have a new opportunity. So we have death and rebirth. And we also see something coming to a full cyclical shift. So you're done, and the universe is always saying, what's next? So for some of you that are really close to graduation, to some sort of pinnacle of success or a goal that you're going to check off your bucket list, good. First of all, drink that in, enjoy it, relax. Secondly, and probably way before you even reach the next pinnacle in your life, get a few items on the bucket list. It's always good to be juggling. And when you think of a juggler, they're only ever touching one or two of the items that they're throwing up in the air. So it's good to kind of have a few things in your energetic sphere, and sort of then you can always reach for the next thing when it's happening. You always have something landing in your hand, like an ace, ace card in Rider-Waite-Smith. So I believe, let me double check, I believe this card came through in the reverse state. And let's see real quick, because I pulled it up right just so we could see the illustration. Yeah, so as a reverse card, it was. Because it came through in the reverse state, one thing that you want to be really mindful of is peer pressure. Not kind of adhering to that peer pressure or feeling like you have to do what others expect, not feeling like you have to carry the weight of the world on your back, and not giving up before you complete what you finish. So you're very close to something coming to a close, finish it. But if you need to delegate, ask for help, or take a break, by all means do that. If someone's pushing you, abusing their power or influence to try to do something they want you to do, say no. Remember, we were talking about distractions. And at the end of the day, this is a really good card. It might be a day where you need to do some traveling or get your sort of head on straight by getting out of the house or the office and going to a different location. So if that's necessary, do it. But if you have anything that you want to complete, it's a great day to do that. We see teamwork coming through the middle of the week. It's nice to see some people in the spread here. So we have the Four of Wands, also reversed. It's one of the best cards when it comes to general partnership. So we see here with the Four of Wands, this sense of like, if you're going to find friendship, this is perfect because this is someone who has your back. And in love, it's a friend first and then a lover. It's a foundational card. It's representing sometimes even before the person or opportunity comes in, you lay those Four Wands out and say, come on in, universe, I'm ready. So in the Four of Wands in reverse, a couple of things that I'd like to reiterate. You are ready, deserving, and capable of creating something where someone is interested. Project, partnership, or just friendship. So open yourself up to receiving. And I talked a little bit about that energy with the daily card read. With the Three of Wands, I believe it was in the mystical deck where kind of she has these ropes coming down and she's holding the ship. I said one of the things that you have to realize, 3 and 4 of Wands are very similar, all of them, 2, 3, and 4, because you're visualizing it, you're receiving it, and here you're also welcoming even more in the realm of sort of like partnership. So feeling deserving of it is so important. So I want you to know that you've done the work or the card wouldn't show up. So this is a great day to have a meeting with someone, have a date, meet a friend, do anything that you want to when it comes to face-to-face communications or negotiations. You have a great chance of someone seeing it from your perspective. So this to me is the high point of the week. I think you can get a lot done here, but I prefer even the Four of Wands. Doesn't always matter about the number. The energy of the Four of Wands is a lot more welcoming. The trickiest point of the week is Thursday. On Thursday, you really want to avoid speaking without thinking, saying something just because it's kind of like on the tip of your tongue. Avoid a misunderstanding by clarifying your perspective on something. So I had a dream a few days ago, and I think it really connects to this card. And it was showing a karmic relationship where you the words just came out. You couldn't help it. And it was because there were several lifetimes where it felt like the two of you were fighting. So there could be someone in your life, sometimes it's sibling rivalry. That's the energy that I got when I connected to that dream. And I don't have any living siblings anyway. So I know it's not me. So what I would say with this is sometimes it's easy and it feels natural and you feel like you can't stop it. What I would say is to take a deep breath. Remember that you want to infuse everything with unconditional empathy or love and just say, I know you're frustrated, so am I. How can we resolve this? What's the common interest here? And try to go for that. I would not have an important conversation on Thursday. I would not create conflict unnecessarily on Thursday. I would practice good self-care on Thursday. I would reread any draft of any communication 2 or 3 times and have someone else read it on Thursday. The Ten of Swords connects to the Ten of Wands. This can be taking on too much. This can be the repercussions. This can be avoided by working with a friend. This is mutable because we're looking at it in the future. It's reversed too. Both of these are mutable because they're reversed. That's why I read reversals, folks. All of these cards in reverse have a subtler and gentler meaning. This is just overcoming stagnation. This is not overdoing it. This is taking a break and practicing self-care and maybe just biting your tongue. Simple things and not as intense when they're reversed. So enough said on that. Let's move to Friday. The energy of Friday really surrounds who's in charge, what direction, and what are you willing to fight for? Because the Chariot can be something that we take to battle. It can represent a ship or a car or movement. It can represent control. So all of those things come into question. How much do you want to fight for something? How much of a lead do you want to take on something in your life? And are you willing to go in your own direction? It's hard sometimes to be leading the charge, but it might be the right thing. Questions of decision-making ability and authority could be coming through on Friday. So the important thing today is to remember, or well, on this day I should say, is to remember that if you feel it, if you believe in it, it's okay. Think of Six of Wands energy here, where you're on that horse and other people start to follow. The Chariot can be the same way. It can just be a little noisier. It's like a motorcycle or something. You sometimes have to just charge forward and do what you need to do. And the reverse state here could also be going in the back, going backwards and saying, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do that. So if you need to go in reverse, do it. Because I did see going in reverse, and that's all right, especially if you're fixing or addressing something. Let me take a quick drink and then we're going to look at next weekend. Okay, so for Saturday, next Saturday, I really like the energy actually. We have the Ace of Swords. It's reversed, but it's still an ace. The Ace of Swords in reverse is about editing, changing, speaking up, writing, getting to the point, getting something done. It's still movement. It's just a little bit more like to the point. So be to the point, get stuff done. It is a great day also for like if you needed to do home improvement, if you need to dig something up, change something, move something. It's pretty much done, but there's something that you need to fix with it. So the editing, revising, and fixing energy is really what we're seeing 6 days from now. It's a good day also to have an important conversation. A simple yes or no is all this card. Or one-word answers are great with the Ace of Swords in reverse. You don't have to kind of like dig yourself into a hole. Just say it and then say, do you have any questions or what do you need? And just keep the sort of quick communications to the point. All right, looking at next Sunday, we have the Two of Pentacles. I always see this card as work-life balance, or a choice where you really know that in order to do the thing that you love, you're going to have to basically push something to the side or say no or make a choice. Six of Pentacles, you can pretty much do everything in front of you, but in this case, there's going to be something where you have to make a decision. So it feels like you already know the decision at hand, like this is what I want to focus on. Try not to overspend or overextend. So when it comes to money, we want to be smart about that. When it comes to your resources, including time and energy, I think that's the most important thing. And it looks like you've had a busy week, especially with these two cards. Like some good, it's almost like every other day the energy shifts. So major change for the better, a little indecision. Finishing what you started, but a little bit of exhaustion. Friendship, bright point of the week. Then we have a little bit of, difficulty here. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This is the day to really get your balance, to get your footing. And we kind of just looked at highlights and lowlights, but let's do it one more time. I would say the best days of the week. I'm going to fight for this card and say it's actually good. It's helping you change something. Today's a highlight. I would say Tuesday and Wednesday are also highlights. And then I think those are the best days of the week. If you need to make a decision, I feel like on Monday it's about asking questions. I think Thursday's just a day to lay low. And I think the rest of the week is manageable. We talked about how to kind of like embrace everything there. So that's definitely the bright star. All right, let's move on now to the elements. And we're going to quickly check in with earth, air, water, fire, etc., and see what's going on in this week ahead. And then we'll get into the special topic. One more reminder, if you haven't yet voted for the deck you want me to use, go ahead and take a look and let me know. In the meantime, I'm going to select a different deck here and take a look at the elemental forecast. This is the only portion of today that's going to be sign specific. Everything else is for everybody that showed up today. By the way, it's so amazing that some folks are becoming members, and thank you, Tahoe, for gifting some memberships. I can see that on the side. I will make sure that I say thanks at the end. It just caught my eye as I was doing this. So thank you, everybody, for your love and support. It actually helps me do more of those impromptus. Okay. So we will look at fire. earth. Air. And water, another Ace of Swords coming through. This is a cool deck I haven't used in a while. I'm trying to shake things up a little bit. All right, so let's take a look at fire. So for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, the most difficult thing this week and I love that there's actually a flame on this card. The most difficult thing with Temperance is patience. And for some of you, you're feeling like, I just want to get to the next thing. And we did have 10 of Wands, which is showing things coming to a close. So don't rush through to the finish line without getting everything done that you set out to do. Don't sacrifice quality. Make sure that you are also not sacrificing self-care and somehow kind of putting yourself in a position where you're exhausted. So all of those things are going to help you out in this moment. Temperance also typically would have an angel on the card. One of my favorite features of that is that you're receiving guidance, but angels tend to speak in a subtle way. They show us things in a subtle way. You can always reach out for help. They're always available. So part of it is just remembering to ask for guidance, but then realizing it isn't going to be bombastic. It's usually going to be very subtle. So focus on the subtle signs and signals in your life. This is also reminding you to fan the flame of whatever it is that's important to you. And if we look at this card, there are a couple of sort of like contradictory energies here. But I get it here. So we have some tears, but then we have the flame here. So it's kind of like a phoenix, even though this is not. But there's this energy of using your emotions to help transmute something, healing those emotions as well, getting the help that you need, and then fanning the flame of something that you care about. But there could be something bittersweet. You could be receiving something great, but also processing something that was maybe less than great, and I get it. So try to embrace the positive this week, fire signs, and try to be patient with yourself and patient with others, okay? Let's move from fire to earth. We have the Emperor. This is such a great card for Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. This puts you in a position of power, autonomy, and also the ability to nurture. Yes, we sometimes focus on the Empress as being sort of like the best nurturing card, or maybe the second, I would say she's tied with the Queen of Pentacles. Both of them are really good mothering energies. But we shouldn't forget that this is the Father card too. So it's the same ability for you to take something maybe that's already started and continue to nurture it. That's kind of what I see the Emperor as. So he's carrying on and continuing. And so this is saying, like, don't let something go. Keep it up. And I think this connects nicely with the 10 of Wands. So see this through to completion. Take care of others, take care of yourself, and some good things can happen. This is also a control card. So the Chariot energy that we were talking about also is connected to this. This is the highest card we can pretty much get for power when it comes to organizational stuff. So you have what it takes. You may be underappreciated or underrepresented right now. I see the potential of the Emperor for you. So it's about stepping into that power and believing that you can do it, believing that you have the ability to do so. So those are the main messages with that. Don't be afraid to speak up, push back, or kind of like just hold court and say, this is who I am and this is what I believe. All right. Very powerful card. I also love how it is grounded. And so standing your ground, being firm, strong and steady like a tree here. All right. Great energy for my earth signs. Let's take a look at air, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So on this one, I always have to look really closely at this. These are swords, so it's the 6 of Swords, and it's showing that there's something beautiful. Nice Pride Week sort of energy on this one too, but there's something beautiful coming after change has settled here. So let's zoom in on this one a little bit. So we have the rain kind of illustrating for some of you the emotional intensity that I was picking up on. The swords here, typically we would have a ship moving, but now we kind of put the focus here on the rainbow. And so for many of you, this is focusing not so much on the difficulty that's behind you, the work that it takes to get to the destination. It's really focusing on the strength that you've had to get so far in this journey and why you're working to get, wherever you're trying to go. So I do see something beautiful on the horizon for you. And it's encouraging the change energy that death brought through. Death, 4 of Swords, 6 of Swords, all in the same cosmic family here when we're looking at tarot. Different intensities and different timings. Death is like that. Four of Swords, very slow. Six of Swords, you're in the driver's seat and you're moving it along. It doesn't happen as quickly as the Death card, but it's happening. So be patient, just like we were talking about with the fire signs. A little bit of patience is going to be required, and you need to know where you're going. So focus on planning this week. Focus on each day moving the needle forward a little bit, and focus on an optimistic perspective. No room for pessimism this week. No room for self-defeating thoughts, self-effacing words, or things of that nature. Think about the possibilities. Think about the rainbow, okay? Really great energy. Next thing that we'll be looking at are all of the water signs. So this is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You have an Ace of Swords in the upright position. So we pulled the Ace of Swords reversed. I feel like whatever revisions or adjustments needed to be made, they have a pretty quick effect. This particular card for the weekly spread was cutting through this web of sort of like bureaucracy and other stuff. Now we have an Ouroboros on this one, which is showing this new cycle where you're not going to have to deal with that as much. Use your voice, use your words, use facts, data, and information to back you up. Take action, be affirmative. In the same light of what I was talking about with all the air signs, positivity is going to be important. This is particularly in your speech and actions. So how you hold yourself, how you communicate, the tone with which you speak, your body language. All of these things need to be pointing in the right direction and affirmative. And by doing that, you're going to really make a splash and make an impact, okay? And this can be a yes card when it's up. So people are more inclined to say yes or engage with you, especially if you do all the stuff we just talked about, okay? So now we're going to move along to the next portion, which is going to be the special topic. Before I do that, and as I clear up the cards, just a periodic reminder to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you in advance to everybody that chose to become a member, or again, to those lovely members that have already gifted to others. I appreciate that. You can also give me a quick follow on social media. And reminder, I don't give private readings. It's good to just put that out there occasionally. You can always find more information, including the decks that I use, on my website. All right, let's take a look and see which deck you chose for me. It looks like it's going to be Tarot of Mystical Moments. I love it. Great choice. I loved everything that I put on this, but that's a great choice because it has this really unusual sort of approach to, tarot in general. So let me grab this deck and let's get started. And the special topic today is what you need to know to thrive. So what's great about this is it doesn't have to be thriving just in this sort of aspect of career. It could be relationships, it could be personal development, or it could be money. So each of you are going to be thriving in different areas, and I'm sure I'm going to see it as I pull the cards here. So if you like that feature, let me know in the comments when this goes on replay. Woo, that was fun. Knight of Cups flew out of the deck. So, wow, that's so beautiful too. So anyway, yeah, that's something I can bring back. I believe by putting the poll first, it saves me time. I don't have to show all the decks. It saved us a good 3 to 5 minutes where I can focus on interpreting the cards. Wow, there are so many changes and movements coming through. It's exciting to see. A little bit of glare from the lights, so don't worry. I'll pull each card up so you can see them as you know. But just in case you're new, don't worry about it. I love this deck. I wish it was just semi-gloss, not full gloss. That would be my only change to it. All right, let me just continue to expand this and then we'll get on to the reading. I see some people with heightened emotions. Remember, we're in a full moon today, so breathe. And you're coming here to get guidance. So breathe, relax, listen, and then come back and watch the reading throughout the week. Because later today we'll put timestamps in so you can look at each of the day markers. It's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's okay to have feelings. Just sort of like breathe and take it a day at a time. That's what the 7-day forecast is about. That's why I do this every week, because the energy changes every week, changes every day, but this is a nice way for all of us to spend some time together and focus on things. Oh my goodness, more gifted memberships. You guys rock. Thank you so much for supporting each other. That's what I really wanted to build here as a community too. So I so appreciate all of you that are gifting as well. So I saw, okay, we got 2 here. I saw Tahoe did it. Who else just gifted? Raven, thank you so much. As I have a chance to notice it, I'll mention it. But at the very end, I will say welcome to all the new members, and I will say thanks to everybody. So let me just focus on the reading first, but I see it out of my periphery, and it's making my day, so thank you. All right, let's take a moment here and focus on, well, actually, one thing that I want to do, yeah, we'll do the catalyst first, and then we'll look at this. Just one moment here. So as you know, the catalyst card is a chance for you to spark change or movement in your life. And we have the energy of fire here, which is fantastic. And it's saying, I choose to be unstoppable. My passion is my power. And I am bold, I am brave, mighty forces come to my aid. That's a lot of words. I love this deck, too many words. The main thing on here is fire. And I love the affirmative energy. Everything that I said was just an affirmative statement. You can take all those things and just make them your own affirmative statements. But if I look at it, I like passion and power. I like the boldness and braveness of this. And I think they could just put those keywords at the bottom and it would be good. So use that energy and you'll see quick movement. When I think of a tiger, I think of speed. I usually think of power when I see a lion, but tigers, I think they're a little faster sometimes. So I just feel that you're going to have this chance to make up for lost time. And a lot of it comes with this, we saw that symbol where the bird was fanning the flame. It's basically focusing on putting your energy behind something that matters, not on the stuff that is a distraction in your life. Let's just scan the cards and take a look at this Celtic Cross spread here. And again, this is going to help you through the next 7 days or so, but some of this stuff could even go through the next couple of months because whenever I pull a full Celtic, that's usually what happens. So as we're looking at this, a couple of notes. I always like to look at these 2 cards. Change, which is going to advance you, and it's for the better. So 9 of Wands amplifies and clarifies the Tower, and the Tower reverse is already something that you have control over. So I like that it's changed for the better. Everything on this side is pretty beneficial too. Power cards, seeing through illusions, and then having more than enough. So we like all of that. And there are some challenges here, and I'm going to help you move through them. All right, let's go to the center. This card flew out. I do read those volunteer cards. Why wouldn't you? Because it's the universe literally flicking a card out of the deck. I know some people don't read it, but I'm like, yeah, of course. So we have the Knight of Cups, and because it flicked out of the deck, we're going to assume it's in the upright position. So I love that she's focusing on the heart center. I love the harmonizing sort of energy there. It's almost as if she's playing the heartstrings, right? So I mentioned this week there could be someone where you feel that head over heels energy. And what happens with that is, in this case, it would be head over heart. The heart can be sort of pulling at your your thought process. We want to look at this in 2 ways. First of all, unconditional love means no strings. It's just basically loving and accepting and witnessing and engaging. So there could be someone that's playing your heartstrings. We want to be able to sort of push back on that if that happens. Here's the cool thing though. This is a Knight, and generally speaking, I would see this as a very positive card. The lotus blossom indicates enlightenment because it's pushing through lower, murkier levels to reach the light. So I feel like you've worked really hard to get to a point where you appreciate yourself. Hopefully you can appreciate others. And you're in a place where you don't have to play games and you don't have to accept anybody's sort of rejection at this point. There was a point where I needed to talk to my parents about stuff, and I said, it's something important. And I just basically said, I don't accept your rejection on this. Like, I love you unconditionally, you need to love me unconditionally, you need to listen to me. So you can actually just say, I reject your rejection on this. This is not something where you get to reject me anymore, particularly if it's a parent. It's supposed to be unconditional, and you don't have to connect with that anymore if it's not happening. Sibling, parent, or best friend. You don't need to put up with it anymore. Love yourself enough not to be played, not to be pulled, not to be sort of pushed in a way that you don't need to be. There could be love coming into your life. Let's read it in the best possible form because it was upright. Some good news is incoming. So we want to make sure you're ready for the good news or the new relationship or the passionate or fun sort of endeavor that's coming through. So what's affecting this, or what could, first of all, this person could be water. They could also have air aspects or be an air sign. We have the Queen of Swords right on top of it. Someone could just be boldly coming forth and saying, do you want to go out, or are you interested in this job, or I like you, do you want to connect on this? Because we have interest and communication. This could also be a chance to talk about the things that you love in your life. So like a business example of this would be like a TED Talk where there's an expert, they get up on a stage and they talk. Inspirational, motivational speech, instructional speech, educational speech. And it's engaging because it's interesting and you're interested in it. One of the things when I think back to like college, high school and earlier, like some of the textbooks were dry and they were not engaging because you could tell maybe whoever wrote it didn't like it, whoever was teaching it wasn't really engaged, and it was hard to get the students engaged in it as well. So my advice here is love what you say, love what you're doing, put the love in things, the frequency of love, and that's gonna bring more of the same. Get a bird's eye view. Literally, we got tons of birds, and this is a card of basically insight. So before you speak, use that informed view and that sort of meditation to help bring you to higher levels, okay? Also, she's on top of an air balloon, right? Kind of. So things are starting to take flight. They're gonna lift off a little bit. Again, using words as a way to elevate things is gonna be super important in this period of time. Looking at the deep past, well, it's today's card, yay. So it's nicely connected with today. Three of Wands in reverse is don't lose track of what you had your sort of sights set on. Also, don't be afraid to look in different directions. I loved this card today because she grabbed what she wanted. She saw it on the horizon. She said, let's do it. I'm not waiting for this. Let's do this. She had a very clear vision. So don't second guess yourself and don't be afraid to speak up and reach for something. It's closer than you think. It's manifesting in real time. I'm going to turn up my air conditioning, then we're going to look at the rest, but I'll give you a chance to look at this spread while I'm doing that. Sorry, when I do readings, my internal thermostat, my body kind of heats up because I'm channeling energy, so I have to keep turning the air conditioning up to a higher, well, lowering the temperature rather. All right, so here we have the Ten of Pentacles, recent past. So the Ten of Pentacles, auspicious. I love this one because we see all the rings of time. We see all of the aspects of the traditional Ten of Pentacles, which is like friends and family and wisdom. And it's saying you really don't need to compare yourself to anybody else. You may be in the inner rings, you may be in the outer rings. Just focus on what you're building. This is a pretty even ring throughout all of this, and so a traditional tree, there's certain years that have drought, so they'll be tighter. There's some years where there's a lot of water and a lot of nutrients, so the rings will go wider because there's more growth. All that matters is you're continuing to grow, and your rings may look a little different than this. So slow and steady wins the race. Focus on personal growth, and nobody knows what you've been through. So unless we were to take, and that hurts the tree anyway, but unless you kind of go in there and take a core out and sort of look at what it's been through, you wouldn't know from the outside. Don't judge something by its cover. Dig a little deeper. If someone's going through a difficult experience, ask about it. Now, when it comes to your own life, be discerning. So this is about finances. This could also be about marriage or contracts. It's good, it's growth. Make sure that you're advocating for your maximum growth and make sure that you understand what is going on with respect to any opportunity in front of you. You may be able to achieve just a little bit more. One thing that they typically don't talk about, I hope it's changing, but it certainly didn't exist when I was going through school. They never tell you how to market yourself, what your hourly wage is, what your annual salary would be, or how to negotiate these things, unless you're maybe doing an MBA. But traditional tracks, particularly creative tracks or artistic ones, if you're an artist, like nobody tells you this stuff. So talk to some people in your industry and get an understanding of value, worth, and negotiation skills. You're worth it. And I didn't discover this until maybe my third job. I did some, yeah, it was the most important one. Yeah, it was actually the third or fourth job that I had. They wanted to try to lowball me, and I said, no. Just because I took one job for 3 months at a lower pay than the previous one doesn't mean that you get to do that. That's ridiculous. I'm still worth the previous amount, and I'm bringing a lot to the table. I still had to take like a 10% cut, but I got it back later. But they wanted to really lowball me like 25%. I'm like, no, that's insulting. And they said, well, what will it take? I said, I'm not going to take $1 below this. And she said, okay, give me a second. You got it. And I was like, oh my God. Sometimes you just have to ask. She could really tell that that was my best and final. I said, I'm tired of this back and forth. This is it. And at that point, they said, we're going to have to give you a higher title. I said, great. That's good. Okay. What's the problem here? That's what I've been advocating for. So you never know until you ask. And I was not being cruel. I was actually saying I was already at that title. So yes, please title me that. And yes, please give me that pay. And thank you for listening. And I remember when I went back to my boss at the time, they said, I hear there was some back and forth. It sounds like everything. I said, yeah, we're good now. That was it. They didn't really care. That was an HR thing. They just wanted me on the team. And I'd done a good enough job that I knew that I could get it. You have to do the work. But I knew that I was worth it. I knew that I could get it. And I knew that it was worth fighting for. It was self-worth. And it was the first time I had to fight for it because I didn't fight the previous time and it got me angry. And I thought, this time, don't get angry. Get what you need. So be willing to fight for your worth, for sure. You can get it. And it's supposed to come through this time around. And we're talking about that because El Diablo is at the top here. So we have a beautiful devil, and I always like it when they don't make it a scary sort of card. She is a black widow, but it's and it looks like it's also that poison mushroom as well. I forget the name of it. Don't get caught up in the moment. Don't get caught up in politics. Don't let something that looks good, but you have a sort of feeling kind of sway your intuition. You know what you know, and I want you to focus on that. So this is the devil's in the details with this particular card. And I think the discernment, the inquisitive nature, all the stuff that we've talked about previously is going to help you with that. There's a reminder here too that, there should be unconditional love and opportunity. Some of you might just be at a place where you've reached a glass ceiling. So the devil in the crowning position can represent you can't go any further. And that's why the tower is here. Some of you may want to fight to shatter the glass ceiling. I totally support that. If somebody doesn't, then, it's never going to change. You may also realize that's a lot of work. I'm going to go somewhere where they just recognize me. And eventually that place is going to realize that they're losing places or losing people due to that. To take it out of the realm of business, this is also like when we look at relationships, you shouldn't have to change yourself to please others. Again, that's conditional love. Examples of conditional love in traditional families. Why can't you be more like your sister? Why can't you be more like your brother? Look at your best friend. Why don't you have grades like that? All you're doing is depleting that child. And if you were that child, it's like that was a parent that wasn't ready for you and they don't know how to motivate. That's not the way. Comparison doesn't work like that. That's just going to make the kid angry at you. So what we're looking at here is instead saying, what can I do to help you? And what's the sort of friction or issue here? What's going on? Get to understand the person rather than pushing them into a mold that doesn't fit. Or saying even worse, and this happened to me, no one will respect you if you do that. You won't be able to make money. You're not this enough, you're not that enough. I definitely got some of that from different people in my life. Well, this lives is not a mistake. I've lived many lives, but in this lifetime, definitely some people pushed back because of expectations on certain things. And I was like, yeah, that's your opinion. So remember that we don't need to you don't want to project out insecurities and you don't want to accept the insecurities. The devil is just here to intimidate. And I'm here to help you not feel intimidated, to help you feel your own sort of power and get you on that right path, all right? So you're going to say no, you're going to ask questions, you're going to be transparent, you're going to be kind, definitely push out the energy that you're not receiving and it's going to surprise the people. All of these things are going to help, okay? All right, what's coming through in the near future? You might just decide, I'm ready and willing to make that change. And by the way, thank you so much, Laura, for gifting some memberships. It's such a great group today. I appreciate it. All right, so we have the Tower in reverse. Auspiciously placed, and a really nice illustration for this too. You can either hold on to something that's crumbling or be the agent of change and say, you know what, I'm going to break this up. There was one of the weekly collective options, like the Potter's Wheel, the ability to kind of reshape, remold it. And I really feel like that's what this Tower is about. Because if we look at what's been going on here in this sort of cross, just the center cross, there is something that's lit up this fourth chakra. You're starting to feel your passion. You're starting to use your voice. You're starting to see some things that you'd forgotten about. Work on your self-worth. And then this isn't enough. Something that was once enough isn't enough anymore because you've reignited this sort of power center. Let's see how you're coming through, and let's see how you can embrace the Tower as we move through these other cards. One of the things is by taking ownership and autonomy here. And this Empress is kind of cool. We can see something new en route, that sort of fertility symbol here shown by the baby. And also that top rose is really big. It's kind of like the heart space. So we're looking at birthing, releasing, and embracing something new and owning it. There is ownership, personal, like I own who I am. So accountability is a better word. So accountability, integrity, and authority. But from you, they're all really good things. The Empress is upright. And then we see all of this growth and fertility because of that. So as you step into your power, then really good things start to grow in your life. All right. So that's really what you need to thrive. This is the first one that's coming through. Some of the other stuff were some things you needed to release. This is telling you how to do it, to stand up for it, to take ownership of it, and to really just embrace it. But in order to do that first, something needs to exit. We got the Death card. We're talking about change. That was today's overarching symbol. So the change elements are no restrictions, has to be the truth, has to be speaking from a place of transparency, and there shouldn't be as many limits. That's the key thing. I think the devil wants to kind of box you in. So no unnecessary limits and breaking the glass ceiling, and possibly deciding just to kind of, if something doesn't exist, you might need to make it. If someone hasn't spoken before, you might have to be the voice. You might have to be the one that's speaking up. And you might have to march to the beat of your own drum, as we see with the King of Wands here in the environment. So the King of Wands, definitely one of my favorite illustrations in this deck. He's saying, this is the way to do it, follow me. So we have this authority, we have this independence, and we have this kind of unusual nature with this illustration here. Let me see what else I want to talk about with this. So the King of Wands is like the ultimate boss card in the minor arcana, and we have like the major arcana here. So there could be a divine partnership, folks, that's coming through here, and it's a nicely matched one. So in business, I like this. This is in the environment. You could have someone coming in that completely sees what you want to do. This is also showing how you are showing up to others in the environment. So I love like this boss energy that's coming through. All of the fire, like let's not forget our catalyst. So we had tiger, fire, we have fire coming through in the environment, and then we have this leadership coming through here as well. So it's a time to be bold. It's a time to lead by example. It's a time to innovate, to share your ideas, to develop. Personal development definitely coming in. I don't need to just get 3 of Pentacles or 8 of Pentacles to see that. So this is a time to put the lens on that developmental part of your life, and a lot of leadership opportunities. So I don't know if that's something that you guys want, but that's something that's definitely coming through for you. Hopes, fears, and opportunities. What can help you get there? What might be holding you back? The moon. We love the moon card. It's today because we have a full moon. And so this moon card is reversed. What I kind of like about this is we're seeing making peace with the shadow. That's really what the moon gives us a chance to do. So we see the shadow represented by like the squid or octopus tentacles coming out. And we do have, it looks like more like a fox and a coyote or a wolf, but we have an animal on the side there. More like a fox because it's got a fox tail. Anyway, use this moment to dig into things that would normally cause you a sense of fear or anxiety and say, I'm not afraid to look at this. I need to know the answer. Fear is assuaged once you have information. So inform your decision, inform your action, and that's going to help you get over the fear. If somebody tries to act like a fool, you're going to see through this. If they try to manipulate you, if the devil energy tries to come through, you're going to see it. I talk about the cards that hang out in the cosmic party in the sky here. The devil and the moon are friends. The devil, the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords, they're like siblings. But the moon can go either way. And the moon is really just about, if you're willing to look at it and deal with it, it's going to go in another direction. It's just there to teach and to illustrate and to illuminate. So pay attention to the things that you feel like you need to fix. This is the time to do it. As we look at your outcome, like I said earlier, this is an auspicious card. Nine of Wands is a card of not giving up. Many of you have gone through a lot, and we can see this person, they have kind of like stitches on their shirt, almost like, you know, when you get stitches when you go to the doctor, but it's just on the shirt here. But it's representing the soul scar or the inner scars that we deal with. And of course, she's right in front of a rose, which rose and thorns, you know, it's basically representing, sometimes you have to go through that before the blossom, before the beauty, before all of this gorgeous energy is ready and willing to come through. So I am just kind of acknowledging and admiring how strong all of you are, and reminding you to take care of yourself and not give up. In the traditional Nine of Wands, you would see, actually, oh my gosh, talk about synchronicity, it's the first card. So here's your traditional Nine of Wands. There's always some sort of bodily bandage or injury. Sometimes we see the person with a sling around their, you know, not their shoulder, but this part of your arm. Sometimes it's right here on the forehead. And sometimes we can see other things here. And for this one, we're looking at it more in the heart space. So take care of your heart. I mean, it's a nice connection to the centermost card. We saw the heart healing. We see you getting really way beyond this. This is way beyond Three of Swords. This is saying, I'm not going to let this get me down. I'm not going to let that get me down. I'm not going to let this person distract me. I'm going to march to the beat of my own drum. I'm going to take ownership over this. I'm going to work hard for my self-worth. I'm going to keep seeing the sunny side of the street. And I'm going to lead by example. And by doing that, I know what I need to do to thrive today. And you do, actually. You'll get it done. The Nine of Wands is like a cat with 9 lives. So it will absolutely achieve what it sets out to do, and you have the chance, sets out to do, and you have the chance to do that now. Let's quickly expand this and take a look at health, wealth, love, and destiny, to further inform you how to thrive in each of those respective areas, beginning with the energy of health, which comprises mind, body, and spirit. So, wow, this is so gorgeous. So we have a new beginnings card, and it doesn't matter which direction it's in because you can kind of see the reflections. Let's just look at it upright though. So we see the angel coming through, and it says, thank you, angels, for opening up doors to change. I am ready. So the death card that we talked about earlier, that's today. This is the doorway. Beautifully timed for a full moon, because the full moon lets us release something, lets us open up to something else as well. So the card is reversed, which means that you may only see the shadow right now, but remember, if there's a shadow, there's something that's casting the shadow, and in this case, it's a luminous, brilliant angel. So you have this ability to sometimes just move past the fear, look beyond just the shadow. We all have light and shadow within. So the moon energy today is allowing us to face our fears, face the shadow, integrate that, and shine through it. Okay? And that's what's going to help you. New beginnings, the Fool energy with this as well. This card is like death, judgment, and the Fool wrapped up in one. So that's really what this is all about. You have my encouragement. You don't need my permission. You have my encouragement to move through something new. Let's look at health for a moment. Again, with the standard disclaimer that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a therapist, and I'm not a financial advisor. But we're going to look at the energy surrounding your health, and you can work with the appropriate professionals. So it's time for a change. We've got the new beginning here. We have the Tower, both cards reversed. Looking at something from a different angle, getting a second opinion because you may not be getting the support that you need from the person that you're working with. All of those things are coming through. A move could be on the horizon. This can represent a move. It can also be a major life transition. For some of you, birth, because we have a little baby here. So this could be the birth or the genesis of something new. I saw like a little baby puppy in a dream the other day, and that doesn't have to mean like a puppy. It could just mean the birth of something, anything baby, a baby chick, a baby. It's just showing me genesis. So there's a genesis of something new, and it's going to change and shake up things a little bit. So figuring out how to let the dust settle a little bit and get your grounding is going to be key. There's a lot of energy surrounding finances and work and self-care during that. Don't burn out. Say no to some of the stuff that you're like, don't overcommit is the main thing. Don't overcommit. And again, there could be a new relationship coming in. All of this is shaking things up. Change is the one constant in this spread. It's here, and hopefully you're going to change that up too. So it's all for the better. Emotional state of mind and state of being definitely has come through a few times. The moon is reminding you to practice good self-care. And with the Nine of Wands, one thing that I forgot to mention is that, if we look at the traditional illustration on this, it can represent, for some of you, migraines, headaches. You might be having a hard time sleeping because of the tension or the pressure, TMJ, anything that's kind of dealing with the head or the mouth or the teeth. So this part of your body is where the pressure is going to go. And because each of our bodies processes stress differently, just pay attention to this part of your body and take care of it. Because it's like essential organs here. We kind of forget about that. Your brain, your hearing, your eyesight, the ability to take food into your body. There's a lot of things that are here. So take care of this. I would say, so it's, let's see, 4. So 5, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You want to basically look at those chakras, those energy points. But throat chakra, third eye, and crown. That's where the intensity can go right now. All right, let's move on to wealth, which is going to comprise resources, life purpose, and career. And we'll try our best. I always try my best to look at it from different points of view. Balance, love this card. And you might have to think on your feet as we're looking at Vishnu here, kind of almost like the Matrix for a moment, but trying to find their footing. The balance card to me would also connect with justice and the 6 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. We got the 2 of Pentacles. Choices, decisions, and then sticking to those decisions, basically. So in wealth, don't overdo it. We talked about that. Don't overcommit, don't overwork. Focus on getting enough sleep. I had to go to sleep earlier last night because I had to wake up earlier. Know your limits, know what you need to focus on. You can do this. You're your own best advocate when it comes to these things. Work-life balance, spending time with your family might be important. Prioritizing family, all of that. All right, let's focus specifically on some things with career. If you're in a job, and I'll look at the other aspects of employment later, like if you're retired or unemployed. If you're in a job, it may have served its higher purpose. The devil in the tower tells me that there needs to be a change, if not a few changes. The money may be there, but the lack of growth or the lack of respect or the lack of development or whatever, there's something there that's lacking, and maybe it's just time to move in a different direction. Whatever it is, do a little bit of soul searching, look at your whatever's kind of been welling up and manage that and figure out how you're going to push through. You have a good chance of getting what you want. 10 of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, and the Tower. So you could ask for something and it could happen. So I like that. There's at least 1 or 2 blocks. I saw that in my my channeled messages. I saw it just in momentum, but there could be things even where you're employed where that's stepping through. Don't let people take you for granted. You're coming through with double boss energy, okay? You just may also have a really strict boss there, and that is what it is. I get it. For those of you that are, by the way, you can step out on your own with these 2 energies, either in a partnership or doing your own thing if you want to. There could also be a new job on the horizon, but you have to really make sure that you have that safety net before you leave. All right. For those of you that are unemployed, remember that you're not defined by that. It can be I've been unemployed before a couple times, 2 or 3 times in my professional career. One time when there was just like economic downturn, another time when there was a merger, and one time when I quit and I just was like, I don't want to do this anymore. We've all been in different points. I get it. But you just don't let that one state define you. You decide to make changes and do something different. And here was an interesting thing. When I chose to do what I'm doing now, I remember talking to a second cousin. It was a cousin of my mom's. And I was on the phone driving home saying about how burned out I was and how ready I was for change. And she said, "What are you going to do next?" I said, "To be honest, I'm not sure, but I'm not going back to corporate." She said, "Well, what does that mean?" I said, "I don't know. It'll work out though." And she felt very nervous for me. I'm like, "I'm not nervous. I know that I can do something on my own. I need a couple months to collect my thoughts, to decompress, because I haven't taken a vacation since graduation." It's like 20, well, not that many. Yeah, well, yeah, it was a long time. It was many years of just working nonstop. So I went from like undergraduate to graduate, and I graduated semesters early both times, and I went from job to job to job without any vacation or break, and I was burned out. And I took 3 months off before I decided to put all my energy into this. And I was like, no, I can't do it anymore. And so she was like, she thought I was making a mistake, and she never talked to me again. I was like, well, if you can't support me on this, then anyway. It wasn't really my fight to fight with her. And that's where sometimes you just choose to go down a different path. So I chose unemployment, and then I created my own job after that. I'm like, I'm tired of what's out there, so I'm going to make my own. But it took 8.5 years to kind of get to the point that it is. So you have to be willing to do the work too. But if you have that sense of drive and passion, you can do it. So sometimes unemployment, it's like the fertilizer you need to grow something amazing. So I was like, I don't want to do any of these paths anymore. I want to do something completely different. But you have to be willing to put the work in. So you can have, like I said, I was laid off once, there was a merger once, and then I just quit once and said, I don't want to do it. I'm going to do my own thing. I like dropped out. So you can always rise up from something like that. Don't let it define you. Embrace the tower. Create your own sort of rhythm and do something different. What this time around, it feels like you want to work a little bit smarter, and you have a little bit more creative freedom, and a little bit more stability. So whatever it is, that's kind of what's coming through here for those of you that are unemployed, but it will be okay. The Three of Wands shows me that you've done the work in order to create a good outcome. But this thought process is what needs to shift. And the environment may need to shift, maybe a move, or maybe just moving industry or something like that, okay? So there you go. But I thought I would let you know, like, I've had different experiences. I was laid off once during Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. I got a text and they were like, "Don't bother coming back." It was an agency. I was just like, kind of like temp agency. So I was contracting. And then another time where there was a period in the early 2000s when the stock market was crashing and the tech market was drying up. And so I had several jobs in a row, 3 actually, where they just ran out of, one company closed, one just couldn't afford me, another one, they just flaked out. So it was like 3 times in the course of a year. And then I was underemployed and then kind of unemployed. And then I decided to just change industries and do something different. And then I did entertainment work, which was good. And then eventually I got burned out on that. And then I did this. So there was one time like where within a month or two, I was laid off 3 times in a row and then couldn't find work because the economy was a mess. And I had to take on a different job. I had to change my skills and go in a different path. And so I never forget that. I was laying on the floor in my parents' house for like 3 months, trying to figure out where to go next. So I've been there. And it does eat at your ego. But each time I was like, it's time to do something else. I'm getting a very clear, I wasn't even sort of as tuned in as I am now, but I got a very clear sign from the universe. This isn't working. We better try something new. So I did. And then I realized trying something new can be a lot of fun. I got the best job of my career after that experience. A friend of mine that I used to work with at one of those agencies, she's like, "Why don't you just apply?" And I applied to a studio and I got in and I was like, "Oh, this is great." So went from like the worst to the best. And it was just me thinking, why not? Why not try this? Because everything else isn't working. And I did it on a New Year's Eve. And then within 6 or 7 days, I heard back. So a week after New Year's, I opened something new. You never know what's possible, folks. If you're retired, it's time to change things up as well. The devil card rather can just indicate this feeling of like, I wish I had more. Sometimes resources are very tight. I know that I was always talking to my mom about that, and she was always worried when she was still alive. So we can't let that get in the way of enjoying every day either. There are ways to restructure the budget, and there are ways to kind of get out and enjoy the world. My mom just enjoyed walking and experiencing nature and things like that, and she found like those little vacations as well. So, I get that. It might also be a time to kind of look at the finances and decide, is there something that you can do to, if you want to take on a part-time job or something like that. Mostly though, this is saying you get a chance to be your own boss. Maybe some of you were like, I spent X amount of years in an environment where I had to answer to someone. I'm my own boss. Nobody tells me what to do now. Good for you. But changing up the routine, changing up the stagnation, not living in a fear-based energy, that's the advice for everybody, okay? And it's good advice at that. Let's take a look at love, romantic, platonic, friends and family. What's the energy here? Appreciation, saying thank you. I see you, thank you. Easier said than done, but so important. What this card is often preceded by is Two of Swords or Eight of Swords. Someone feeling like you're not listening, you're not seeing, you're not integrating or kind of like understanding what they have to say. Slow down, and in all relationships, really try to appreciate the lesson and understand where they're coming from. Make sure that you're getting that appreciation as well. It cuts both ways. So if you're in a relationship where it's just one way, it's always the other person taking, and they're never receiving or checking in, that's something to think about. And that really is what the devil would be. The devil is a selfish card. Let's look at 3 different perspectives here. If you're in a relationship, it's kind of like 2 little mini forks on that, but we'll look at in love, looking for love, single and happy. Again, everything today is how to thrive. So some of what I'm going to tell you is how to get rid of limits. Some of it is how to embrace an opportunity. All right. So let's move to the, for all of you that are in a current relationship, let's assume it's solid, and then I can always look at it if it's on shaking ground. But if it's solid, here's what I see. One or both of you are dealing with some things that are out of your control. And again, that's what the devil's really representing, are things that are challenging, things that are just out of your control. And the important thing here is that you're there for each other. The compassion of the Knight of Cups is going to be important. The communicative nature of the Queen of Swords is key. I'm so happy the Queen of Swords is here because this is the family that you've built together. If we look really close at the rings here, at the center is the family, and there's always a family. We've got the little dog, we've got the family, we have the matriarch or patriarch, here it's a patriarch, and basically it's saying, we built this together, this relationship, this team. Let's keep it intact. We'll work through this. We'll make the changes necessary. If you can do that, you're on solid ground. There may still be some hopes and fears and some hiccups, but ultimately we do have the Nine of Wands, which is perseverance and success. And we have 2 strong individuals. You both are boss energy. So I feel like you can do this. Now, the only thing that could get in the way for relationships that are in a sort of more chaosy energy, secrets, that's not good. If you're not able to talk to each other, if the communication breaks down, if there's a secret that came out and it's too big or it's too late or it's too much, I get it. Sometimes something like that happens. So the important thing here is to pick up the pieces and decide, for you, is it worth it? For some of you, it's not. You're going to be fine if that's the case. Again, communication and honesty. If it's not there, I'm not going to try to save that because that's a house of cards. You have to have those 2 things. So the devil can represent that. Something or someone coming in and revealing themselves for something that you thought they were, but they're not. So in that case, you know what to do. But for everyone else, it could just be something, this can represent a sickness, for instance, that you can't control, and it changes everything. So it could just be an external factor, something out of your control. Be communicative. As long as you're communicative, things are good. When you stop talking, things break down. When you stop appreciating and take one another for granted, things break down. All right? That's it for existing relationships. If you're looking for love, there could be a Capricorn coming in. There's a lot of people in the periphery. One thing that I would say that might be lacking in those that are seeking love is clarity or discernment. Like, what is it that you're looking for? Because we could have a Capricorn, we could have a Scorpio, we could have a fire sign coming through, we could have an air sign. I've got like every element and all kinds of things coming through. So I see too many people. The other thing here, this could also represent an extended family with a lot of pressure. This is pressure, this is the family. So just focus on what feels right for you. There's no doubt that you can find people. Here's what I think you need to work on to thrive. There could be some limits and some habits in your life that aren't serving you. This is a chance to reevaluate that. There could be a person in your life that is not what they appear to be. So again, it might be time to kind of move away from that energy. It looks appealing, but it's not. There could be a necessary change of environment or employment or something. It's important to make the necessary change and let the dust settle. These are the two most important things. Then focus on what you're looking for, because you have a lot of options, too many options. So focus on where the passion is. If we go back to the catalyst, and that's going to help you quite a bit. The thing that seems to be marching into your periphery is a fire sign. I like the fire sign. They seem to be focusing on their own thing. So it may be something where you might even, the one that you want the most seems to be distracted. So again, focus on really being this, because this is a nice match for the King of Wands. All right. If you're single and happy, it's a time to really focus on personal healing. You might want to travel, or you might be in the throes of a move. This typically, when I'm reading for someone, it depends on the, I don't do private readings anymore. But like if I was reading for myself, friend or family member, this can sometimes show someone that doesn't have a current permanent home. So they could be between homes. They might be renting a place while something's being built. They could be traveling. So there's something about your life where I see a lot of, lack of roots. So that might be something to focus on. I see a lot of intuitive energy coming through, some fears that are coming to the forefront. So focus on that. But putting your energy into work is really great here with the 10 of Pentacles, the Empress, and the King of Wands. Discern and focus and get good advice when it comes to all contracts. This is important for everybody, whether it's marriage contract or a work contract. This is something where it's limiting, and you are unlimited, or you have more potential than this is willing to give. So let's definitely take a look at those contracts a couple of times. All right, and that covers everything for everybody. All right, let's look at Destiny. We got 2 cards here. I forgot to say it when I pulled it. The hyena, which has a nice moon behind it, showing the half sort of state here, so maybe in about a week or so. And then a subtle energy of the snake behind it. So the hyena. I do think of speed with this, but the moon behind it is showing me that there's 2 sides to every story, because we're kind of looking at a perfectly split moon, or almost like the dark and the light side. So try not to let your shadow side get in the way of seeing perspective. Try not to let someone act a fool. This is a time to kind of call someone out for that, and focus on really pulling everything into that, leading by example, pull it into the light. But there's something tricky about the hyena and that moon and showing that mid phase here. The snake is about your power, and we focus on that a lot today. You've got no less than three royal cards here, because we have a Queen of Swords, we have the King of Wands, and we have the Empress, which is a queen. So you have 2 queens and a king. Lots of royal energy, lots of strong, regal power kind of coming through. This is an Ouroboros, a sign of also infinity. But sometimes with this in the reverse, you could be giving away power. Sometimes you, even though I'm looking at the tail, it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. Make sure that you're not doing something that's counterproductive. That's the main message here. And I did see in dreams like that reverse motion. If it's going in reverse to fix something, great, but we shouldn't be spinning our wheels unnecessarily or going in the wrong direction. All right, we'll do one last card, and then we'll get into the final component of today's reading. So I always like to do a big idea when I do these major topics. And so again, looking at today's topic, what do you need to thrive? Let's just look for a single card for that. Okay. 3 came out, but it's okay. So we'll look at past, present, and future influences. I'm just going to read them in the upright position because they flew out. So in the past influences, again, we're talking about the ability to speak your mind. And I love that we see the bird's eye view. Don't forget to take a step back and look at the big picture. That's the lesson from the past, to thrive. The lesson from the present is what I was talking about in relationships. So appreciation goes a long way. Saying thank you, using gratitude whenever possible, and realizing, I love 8 of Swords, where we can see the cage that's kind of, or the prison, the self-prison that's being made, but it's open. So this is really just about pushing through the glass ceiling, which we also saw with the Devil and the Tower. So for some of you, there's this glass ceiling that was imposed upon you by family, friends, or just yourself. So it's about seeing beyond what's in front of you, seeing the unseeable, seeing that what might have been previously termed impossible is actually possible. And then we have the card that comes right after balance, the Seven of Pentacles. This is recovery, this is growth, and this also is a call to take care of things in the realm of self-care and health and financial health, and to not fall into the trap of doing too much too often for too many. I'm all for service. I'm all for being there for others, but also be there for yourself and make sure that you are getting the support you need and that you're not overextending. Okay? Powerful messages today, powerful reading. Really happy that we made time to look at all of this together. Don't go away because we have one more powerful piece, which is going to be a meditation followed by a final card. And the final card is your chance to ask one question. Why wouldn't you stick around to see if there's something that I didn't yet answer? Quick check-in before you do it. Dakota's usually good about this, but hit the like and subscribe before we meditate, because I know it can be a little bit, we're out on another planet when we meditate. If you've already subscribed or if you're already a member, thank you. If you haven't, it's free. It helps the channel. It's a great way to give back. And it's a great way to be informed. I do a bunch of impromptus. Make sure you hit that bell icon too, so that you know. And I change my times around depending on when I'm going to be best able to deliver the message. That's something I gave myself permission to do this year. I'm like, if I need an extra hour, I'll give myself an hour so I can give a better reading. So the times can fluctuate, but it's usually by 11:30 and then any given day during the week, and usually 9 or 9:30 on the weekends. Today's earlier. I'll always post it the night before, and the most it will fluctuate is like 10 or 15 minutes because of Apollo. So just a quick heads up, but you want that bell icon on so that you know when I go live. All right, let's get into the meditation for today. So today's meditation, I'm taking a quick scan of the cards. I always kind of go in the flow with this. I really like the energy of the tree. When I was walking Apollo this morning, I saw a bunch of squirrels dancing around in the trees. So I feel like one thing that can help you right now is to allow yourself to feel the stability of a tree. So the meditation is going to be about 3 minutes. Stick around, and then after that, I'll pull the final card. As I'm doing that, please close your eyes and take a scan of your body. As you take this first inhale, I want you to focus on really opening up the heart, pushing that chest out a little bit and feeling this opening in the heart space. And then as you exhale, letting go of anything that was heavy in the heart space. Do a few of those at your own pace with your own level of intensity. Sometimes there's a lot, and if there's a lot, you really want to take a deep breath like this. Hold it, really let it kind of like break through everything, and then push it out. If you're feeling just like you want to relax, then just gentle. You get to moderate it however you want to do it. All right, imagine now that you're on a hammock between two ancient trees. Think of like redwoods reaching way up into the sky. It's almost like Lord of the Rings, Lothlorien. These ancient mystical trees as far as your eye can see, the roots going into the planet as far as your mind can imagine, both directions. And you are squarely between the two trees. And as you are between these two trees, we can imagine kind of in a Tolkien sort of magic, one representing the sun, one representing the moon. So silver light and yellow light. And imagine that this beautiful golden and silver energy is creating a yin-yang sort of shape around your body, and you are perfectly encircled between these two magical trees. I want you to just gaze up at the sky above you and feel the light, feel the connection to the planet between these two trees. And they're kind of creating this vortex or portal right in front of you where you can see something that you need to see. And this is going to be unique for each of you. For some of you, you're just going to feel safe and you're going to breathe because you don't see a lot of stuff in meditation, and that's okay. For some of you, your third eye is going to open up and you're going to get a clue of what the next step is. And the question that you asked me, what do you need to thrive? You're going to get that answer right now. So just breathe, enjoy the power, the strength, the connection to the planet that the trees are offering. See the leaves and drink in the light just like they are, and allow yourself to feel the sense of nourishment and safety. take a moment while you're still in a meditated state and imagine that you are gently allowing yourself to leave the hammock. And if you feel so inclined, you can take a moment and express gratitude to the trees by hugging the tree. You can do it to one or both, whichever one is calling to you. And as you hug the tree, feel like there is this immediate sense of reciprocated love. So we get love from Gaia and Earth, we get love from Mother and Father Sky, all of this energy coming through to you. And then whatever you don't need, you can ask the tree if it can take that from you as well and ground it. So it's one last time to get rid of things. Trees can do that. Just ask permission and then give them a hug. Give a little bit back. And a nice exhale is a great way to give a tree an offering of love as well. So when you meditate, obviously you always want to do that. But trees are great for what we just did, and you can do that in your waking hours as well. All right, when you're ready, I'd love for you to gently open your eyes. And as you do this, let's focus now on the question that you have that has yet to be answered. Again, kind of bringing yourself back into your body, eyes open, mind focused. Let's see what the cards have to show. The Two of Cups, we like this. All right, so this is a nice affirmative card here. It came through in the reverse state, but let's look at it in the upright position. It's kind of twinning energy on this one. This looks to me like something that's very much mirroring what you're putting out into the world. And we even see these two tulips kind of intertwined as well. So a couple of notes with this. With the card in reverse, you don't have to accept something that does not fit or does not resonate with your heart, with your creative sort of like decision of whatever it is you want to do. Really follow this. Follow the heart chakra. We just worked on opening that up a bit, and allow yourself to receive. First of all, if something good comes in, say thank you. Gratitude and appreciation. That's all you have to do. Heartfelt appreciation. And then if something is not good enough, say thank you, but this is more for negotiation. I think we're a little far off, or we think we forgot this, or what about this? Go back to the drawing board if you need to in negotiations. But if something good is coming in, the universe is seeing value, then who are you to argue that there might be something of value? So this is saying celebrate your value. Don't accept less than what you're worth, though, for sure, okay? Two of Cups can represent new love, new opportunity, new partnership on the horizon. You have to feel the spark. It has to feel mutually beneficial. And there needs to be this unconditional appreciation and partnership, more like the Four of Wands that we got in the midweek sort of forecast, not so much this, okay? So that, my friends, is everything. What a magical reading today. I think I just saw another gifted membership. Kathy, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I have to say that. Super amazing today. I think I saw at least 3 people gift memberships. I'm going to do my best to scroll up and see if I can see them. I know Dakota called them out, so at least he saw it. I'll see it when I go back on replay for sure. Before I do that, a quick reminder. Again, if you'd like to give me a quick follow on social media, here are all of my handles. I never offer private readings, so be mindful of that because there are people that impersonate. Thanks in advance to all that did like and subscribe. Thank you so much for the folks that gave back with memberships today, as well as super stickers and super chat. I'm going to take a moment to do that. Welcome to the newest subscribers as well. It's good to have all of you here. And if it's your first time especially, I hope you stick around. I hope you come back. So give me a moment here. I'm going to welcome the newest members, and then I'll say thanks to all the stickers. There's a ton of new members today, which is amazing, by the way. Oh my gosh, I'm going to do my best and just say first names and move. Oh my God, I'm actually flabbergasted a bit in a good way. Like that, I don't know when I've seen this many members in a reading. So thank you so much. All right, and let's see. This one's a little bit harder to say. CHLOMIKELL. I'm not going to even try, but thank you. Eli, Joanne, Moon, Jennifer, Amy, KK, Luliana, Susan, Curio number 7, Amy, Emily, Lalita, Shelly, I think it is. I hope it is, or Shelly. Christy, Elizabeth, I know you. Susie, AJ, Brandy, Kimberly, Rudy, Mira, Evelyn, Tiago, Shimo, Carmen, Denise, Nadi, B, Amy, and April. Oh my goodness. we'll have to do something fun with memberships this week. That's what I've just decided. So thank you so much, everybody. Welcome to all of the newest members. Welcome to all the old. Thank you to all of the existing members that just gifted some memberships. You guys rock. I can't believe it. Let me also thank all the super stickers, and then I'll go back and see if I mentioned all of the gifted members. All right, so today on the Weekly Collective, quickly moving through again, just doing first names. Lori, Kimmy, Maria, Dana, Aylin, Cynthia, Mobot, interesting, Jeannie, Pearl, Sarah, Mind as Well, Liz, Kathy, Sky Fun, Collar Me Happy, Sophie, Carmen, Playtable Games, Conscious Candace. I think I got everybody. And thank you to everybody. Doesn't matter how much or how little, it made a big impact today, and I appreciate it. This really, I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Enzo, thanks, buddy. Conscious, thank you so much for your sort of member note as well. Let's see who else we've got here. I'm going to make sure I got these. So again, thanks to Kathy for gifting it. I know Tahoe gifted some. Let me see if there was anybody else. Maybe, hopefully I got everybody. If I missed anybody, oh yeah, Ailey, thank you so much for gifting memberships. I'm just scrolling up as far as it will show me. Laura, thank you as well. God, you guys rock. I really mean that. This is amazing and so much appreciated. I put a lot of effort into these readings, and I'm so grateful for the community and the connection here. It really makes it all worthwhile. Lisa, welcome. I'm glad you're a new channel member as well. I'll put a post this week perhaps for all the new members, and I'll say, what do you want me to do? We'll do an open post, and then maybe I'll do a poll and let you vote on it, and we'll go from there. So in the meantime, lots of love and light to all of you. Have a great week ahead. This was a really cool and magical reading today. Even the meditation was kind of fun. I'm a big fan of Lord of the Rings. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get a lot out of it. Thanks to Dakota for getting up a little bit earlier, as well as all the rest of you. This will be available immediately on replay, and give us some time, but by tonight there'll be all of the sort of chapters in there so you can review it. And also the closed captions automatically generate, so sometimes people complain like 1 minute after it's live. You got to give it time to process. So thank you for everyone for being patient. Wishing you all the best. Have a great one. Have a great weekend. Happy Pride to everybody that's celebrating, and I'll see you all next week. And of course, I'll be here Monday, Thursday, and Friday, and next weekend, and every day for a daily. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.